an asteroid that orbits the Sun between Saturn and Uranus. Right now, Chiron is known as a minor planet as well as a comet. Chiron has a measured diameter of 206 kilometers, which makes it a dwarf planet. When it comes to astrology, we usually only look at the planets in our natal charts. The most fascinating thing about astrology is, as astronomers discover new things, so will astrology evolve accordingly. In astrology, Chiron is known as the wounded healer, but it goes much deeper than that. Chiron, in essence, represents the wounds and the pain that our soul carries from our past lives. We all have specific wounds that we might be conscious or not conscious of. There are certain conditions and certain things in our life that create these wounds. However, our Chiron wound is not necessarily linked to any conditions or experiences within this current life, but it's actually the pain that our soul carries with it from a previous life. Our Chiron wound, in essence, has nothing to do with this current experience. Chiron was only discovered in 1977, which makes it quite a new addition to astrology. Because Chiron is quite new to astrology, not many astrologers use Chiron in their readings, and they're not that familiar with what Chiron actually means and what it represents and how you can use Chiron in your life to guide you. Chiron is not necessarily used in traditional astrology, and if you research traditional astrology methods, Chiron will likely not be included. Chiron is mainly used in the modern day practices of astrology. Some astrologers track the movements of Chiron and they include Chiron in their readings when they read charts for clients. Some astrologers don't. This is entirely a personal choice, and there is no right or wrong way of doing this. If you would like to know about your Chiron placement and what this all means, it is important that you approach an astrologer who knows what Chiron is all about. If you would like me to make a video about Chiron in your specific sign, leave a thumbs up on this video. If this video gets 50 likes, I will make videos for Chiron through each of the signs. Chiron was named after the centaur in Greek mythology, who was known for his teaching and his healing abilities. Chiron was inflicted by the wound of a poisoned arrow, and he was unable to heal himself from this particular wound. Because Chiron was unable to heal himself, but he always healed other people, he then became known as the wounded healer. In essence, Chiron represents the part of ourselves where we are the most vulnerable. It is a soft spot within ourselves where we're incredibly sensitive. What is amazing about Chiron, though, is that Chiron is the placement that teaches us to heal ourselves with our pain. It is important to know your Chiron placement because your Chiron placement will show you how you make use of a particular sense of pain within yourself to become more powerful, to grow yourself. The saying goes that without darkness, there is no light. Chiron, in essence, represents the darkness you need to get through in order to eventually get to the light. Without that darkness, the light would not exist. Without the pain and suffering you might experience, you will not become as strong and as capable as you can possibly be. Chiron shows us how to use our pain as a source of strength. Have you ever had a situation in your life where you experienced a lot of pain? You experienced so much despair and so much hurt inside yourself, and then eventually at some point in your life you were able to use this situation or this experience of pain that you went through as a source of wisdom, as a source of insight. Often when we go through these incredibly painful experiences, this is actually when we wake up. This is when we awaken to our actual potential and when we awaken to our life purpose and what life is all about. Before we awaken to our utmost potential, we first need to be in our darkest place we can possibly be. This is what Chiron is all about. Chiron shows you what is the process you have to go through that includes pain, that includes suffering, despair. And only once you complete that particular process of pain and suffering will you actually be able to harness your inner strength. A lot of the times, our inner strength doesn't just come to us. We don't just get born or wake up one day and we're this mighty, powerful person. We had to have gone through hardships. We had to go through experiences and challenges that made us strong, that made us that incredibly powerful person that we eventually became. Chiron in essence represents this process. It represents this process of inner pain and turmoil that we will go through, but then eventually we will end up our most powerful version of ourselves that we can be. Chiron shows us how we can turn our pain into power. Now, the way that Chiron works in our life is it will have a subtle subconscious effect over us up until a certain point. At a certain point in our lives, Chiron will get activated. When Chiron becomes activated, we become awakened to this pain that we've been experiencing. We realize that we've been stuck in a cycle and a pattern in our life where we suppress our pain and we do not deal with it healthily. When Chiron gets activated, we wake up to this pain. We wake up to this side of ourselves that's been experiencing all this hurt. And we realize how we can change it. We realize what we can do to change these things in our lives. Once Chiron is activated, we will say no more. We won't move forward in the same cycle of pain and despair and hurt anymore, and we have no option but to heal ourselves. In essence, we are all wounded healers inside ourselves because we all carry wounds, we all carry pain, we all carry painful experiences, but we need to find out how to heal ourselves. That is why Chiron is the wounded healer. It shows you how to heal yourself with your wound. Chiron in your natal chart will symbolize the area in your life where you experience the greatest sense of low self-worth. It is where you experience the greatest sense of inadequacy. It is where you feel like you are lacking the most in life. Because our Chiron wound is so incredibly powerful, this wound within us will end up shouting at us. It will become overwhelming at some point in our life, and then we will be pushed to change. We will be pushed to heal ourselves. We cannot live our entire life carrying this wound. When you undergo your Chiron activation, that is when you actually start healing this wound instead of just living with it. There is usually one aspect of our lives that is more difficult and more challenging for us to get through and to deal with than all the other aspects of our lives. And this is usually what is represented by Chiron. It can be different for every person. Some people might have challenges with relationships. Some people might have challenges with their family. Some people might have challenges with money. Some people might have challenges with their health. For each person, the specific challenge that they will endure throughout their life is different, and this is usually indicated by their Chiron placement. In our past life, our soul had certain experiences and certain lessons and things it had to overcome. Usually there is one or two things that your soul could not finish off before it left that previous life. That unfinished business that your soul has that is linked to your previous life is basically indicated through your Chiron placement. The reason why you are suffering is not because of anything linked to this particular life experience. Usually our Chiron wound doesn't make any sense. For example, you can be a person whose Chiron wound revolves around relationships. Maybe you have the ability to have an incredibly loving relationship and you are in an amazing relationship, but you still feel so incredibly unsettled. You still feel so restless and like something is incomplete. There's all these issues within you in relation to your relationship, but your relationship is perfectly fine. That is how our Chiron wounds can play out. It might not necessarily have anything to do with our current life and our current circumstances, because it is a lesson our soul still needs to learn from our previous life, from our previous experiences. Chiron is, in essence, past life karma that we have to work through. Without working through and dealing with this past life karma, we will not be able to be our most powerful self in this life. No matter how hard we actually try to be our most powerful self in this life, without healing that past life wound that we have, we will still have problems. Chiron, in essence, is what creates our suffering without us even knowing it. It is said that through our Chiron placement, we present the world with 3 different faces. The first face is the one that is wounded. It is the one that is the victim. It is the side of ourselves that screams, I'm in pain, I'm hurt, I'm suffering. The second face is the one who wounds. This is the side of ourselves that causes pain around us because we are in pain ourselves. There's a saying that goes, only hurt people hurt people. The same counts for our Chiron wound and how we only cause pain and suffering around us based on the particular pain and suffering that we're experiencing ourselves. If we did not experience this pain and suffering ourselves, we would not inflict this pain and suffering upon others and the world around us. The third face of Chiron is the one who heals. This is the side of ourselves that realizes our pain and realizes our suffering, but uses this as a lesson and as a strength to create healing within ourselves and others. These three faces of Chiron symbolize our three different identities. It shows how we behave when we're suffering and when we're wounded. It shows how we behave when we wound other people, and it also shows how we behave when we heal. It's also symbolic for the process that we go through with Chiron. First, we are the wounded, we're the one who is in pain. Then we become the one who wounds. Because we are in pain and we don't know how to deal with our wounds in a healthy way, we inflict these wounds upon others. Then after that, when we realize that inflicting pain onto others is not the way for us to actually heal, we eventually figure out how to heal ourselves and we become the one who heals. This is the process that we go through with our Chiron placement. Before you are able to become the one who heals, you first need to be the one who is wounded and the one who wounds. You cannot be the one who heals if you were not wounded at one point and if you weren't inflicting pain and wounds upon others. In order for you to be the healer, you have to have gone through that process. If you do not possess awareness about your pain, if you do not possess awareness about where this pain comes from and why you're in so much pain, you will never possess the awareness of what you actually need to do to heal this pain. Knowing your Chiron placement and having awareness about this can guide you to understanding your pain and also to how to heal your pain. This is my video on Chiron. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more astrology and spirituality videos. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Check out the link to my Patreon in the description to this video if you would like to support this channel and to see what that is all about. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.